Hey guys, if you're watching this video, then that means that you have mainly finished the information in your visual rhetorical analysis project document, and you're going over to make sure that you have everything there that you need to have before you submit it for feedback. In this slideshow, I'm going to go over some information about how the cognitive skills are going to be assessed in the document so that you can make sure that you have everything that you need in the doc and at the level that it needs to be there. In this slideshow, this is the second slide that's there, and you can click on the cognitive skill to go to the slide that you need to see for that skill. For this video, we're just going to start with theme, central idea, and then work our way through each of the slides. So for theme, central idea, in order to be assessed for that cognitive skill, I'm going to be looking in two places. First, the theme should be stated here on the second page of your document. You should state this is the theme of our ad campaign. Then at the end of each of your 3 advertisement charts, you have this section that asks, how does this advertisement communicate the theme, central idea of your advertisement campaign? And here, you should provide an explanation. Okay, so according to the cognitive skill rubric here in blue, you should provide an accurate explanation of how specific details from the ad support the development of the theme or central idea of your overall advertisement campaign. The next cognitive skill is word choice. So in the word choice row on your chart, you are going to pick one word from the slide. I'm sorry, not from the slide, from the advertisement that you created. What do you feel like is the most powerful, most important word from your ad? You're going to put that word here. In the middle column where you have your evidence, you're going to put the whole phrase that that word is in. So the whole sentence or the whole statement, the whole question that that word is found. And then in the last spot, you're going to give an explanation for why you chose that word. Sorry, my dog's whining in the background. So at the bottom here in the analysis column, you're going to explain the meaning of that word, the word that you chose. For example, the figurative meaning of that word, the connotative meaning, which is like the emotional meaning, right? How does it feel? Or the technical meaning, like literally, what does that mean? And you're going to clearly explain the impact of that word on the meaning. So how did that specific word impact the meaning of the message or the tone of the message? Did you create a specific mood, a specific tone by using that specific word? Okay, so check your word choice row and make sure that you have it filled in completely and that you have an explanation that does this according to the cognitive skill rubric. For selection of evidence, I added that cognitive skill to the chart. So in the evidence in the ad column, this whole column is where we're going to assess that skill. And in this column is where you're going to list the specific evidence. So let's say rhetorical device number 1, you said you used color theory. In the evidence part, you need to describe exactly what we see in the ad. So if you used the colors yellow and red, describe specifically what in the ad is yellow, what in the ad is red. Okay, so I put this little clue here, this little hint. Pretend that you're describing the ad to someone over the phone. They cannot see the picture, so you have to describe it in a way that helps them visualize it. So again, with words from the rubric, you should be selecting a variety of detailed, relevant evidence that is sufficient to support the use of that device. Here are a couple of examples on the following slide that show good examples of naming the device and then clearly providing detailed evidence to prove that you used a visual simile. So if you want to pause and look at these examples, or if you want to look back at the slides and look at these examples, feel free to do that. For explanation of evidence, again, I added that cognitive skill onto your chart, so you should already be having that in mind. In this analysis column is where you're going to explain how does the use of this device and this evidence, how is that helping to communicate your message? To get a 6 on the rubric, you'll provide insightful and clear analysis that thoroughly and accurately explains how the evidence supports the claims or statements, in this case, the ad's message. So here are some examples at the bottom. So if I say, again, I use color theory, in my evidence, I use the color yellow in these places, I use the color red in these places. Here is where I'm going to explain, why did I choose red and yellow? What is the meaning of those colors? And how did those meanings help convey the meaning of my ad? If I asked a rhetorical question, so my device is a rhetorical question, my evidence, I put the question, my analysis should explain, like, why did I ask that question? How does that meaning of that question and the implied answers of that question help communicate my message? Again, here's an explanation of two strong uses of explanation of evidence that you could see how yours should look like, and you can kind of model after that. For the multimedia in communication cog skill, that is the image of your advertisement. So your image will go here in the yellow box. And then again in blue here is the language from the rubric about how it will be assessed. So your visual display should be strategic. It should strengthen your claim, clearly communicate the message. It should enhance audience engagement and their understanding. So your audience should clearly be able to look at your ad and see, like, what was your message? What was the purpose of this advertisement that you created? And then lastly, the communicating accurately and precisely cognitive skill is simply just your writing. Is your writing spelled correctly? Is it punctuated correctly? Did you use correct sentence structure? Specifically, I'm going to be looking in the analysis column where you should be explaining in complete sentences. So specifically in that analysis column, do you have multiple sentences of explanation that are written in a way that is clear, with no spelling mistakes, with punctuation where it should be, with complete sentences? The only cognitive skill that's not going to be assessed on your document is your introduction and conclusion cognitive skill. And we will be talking more about that later, so I don't want you to worry about that one right now. Okay, so you have this video you can watch back if you have a question about any of these pieces. And you will also have a link to this slideshow that is on my website under the project box at the top, where you can click back through and look back whenever you need to.